Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler V-Series V's I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little disappointed in that snap. Can we do a better snap? That was the snap. But anyway, folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, because I'm multi-talented, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight super cool shirt. Super cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom! It's my Stellar Circuit shirt that's got some crumbs on it from my previous review. If you are not familiar with the band Stellar Circuits, they've been around for several years now. I think they're on album number 3, if I'm not mistaken. We'll even do a little bit of a plug, because I like them this much. This is their most recent album. It's called Sight to Sound. Boom! Check it out. It's neat. These guys are super awesome. I've been following them for a few years now, and I've just been watching them grow. It's just, first time I ever saw them was at a fucking tattoo parlor. It was actually a really cool fucking show. And just from there, man, they're just growing. They're actually going to be going on a European tour pretty soon. And at the time I'm doing this, well, they're doing a few shows in the good old US of A before they hit Europe, so I'm out to see them. So in about an hour and a half, I should be enjoying the festivities. But if you happen to be interested in any of the nonsense I was just talking about, absolutely check out their stuff. But I also have some videos on my channel of performance of theirs that I've gone out to see. If you want to check out their stuff, they're a great live band, super good dudes. I can't say enough good things about these guys. Like, it's one of those things where it's like I try to see them whenever they come through the area. I've missed them, once or twice, sometimes I just can't swing it. But when they announced this tour, like, I think probably 3 months ago, I was like, boom! Just that day, I went into work, put in for the day off. Because they're just fucking awesome. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Well, since I was out Chicago way, and Chicago is one of the best goddamn food cities on the planet, I went out to a place called Baron Garu's Aussie Pies. I went over there, I bought 2 pies. I have reviewed said pies. Go look for those videos if you're interested in Australian meat pies. But as I was leaving the establishment and walking back towards my car, I noticed that a favorite establishment of mine was just right off to the side. And like, thing is, Brandon, how would you not know that? Because I don't know Chicago all that well. I live in the suburbs. So I went over there. I wasn't originally going to get anything, because like, I've already got 2 things, but I had to, damn it. So, boom, it's a hot dog, but it's not just any hot dog. This is a hot dog from a place called Devil Dawgs. And I love this place. I found them a few years back now. I was actually out at a show, and while things were being set up and everything, I decided to peruse around. I found this place. They were fantastic. Pretty much every time that I see them, I try to go over there and get their stuff. This specifically, though, is their Blue Demon Dog. It consists of devil sauce, onion, sauerkraut, pickles, spicy mustard, and that's it. So, let's take a look at it. There's a giant pickle. When they said pickle, I wasn't expecting the giant variety, but they're pickle. So can we get a thing? Maybe. The sauerkraut first. So, I've never had this one before. I like sauerkraut to a certain extent. I'm German. Pickles are a little bit here or there. Let's give it a go. And their hot dogs are so good, man. Like, you can taste the beef. I mean, that's a thing of beauty. Tasting the spicy mustard. I'm liking that. Now we're going to go in for the bigger bite with the pickle and the whole thing. Good pickle. I'll give it that. Not a big pickle guy, but good pickle. Yeah, I like it. I was like, I decided to get it because it's one that I hadn't tried before. But I was a little bit worried because it's like, okay, pickle and sauerkraut, two things I'm okay with, but I'm not huge into. But they actually work really well in this instance because, like, sauerkraut is a bit of an experience. It's kind of a love it or hate it type of thing. But it has a very strong taste to it. The thing is that with this and the pickle, they sort of work with and against each other at the same time. Like, at certain times, they're highlighting certain elements of one another. It has a super strong taste of sort of that pickle and that kind of sauerkraut sort of taste. But then it also sort of helps balance it out a little bit. So neither one is, like, obnoxious with it. And I really, really like that. Plus, you've got the added flavors of the devil sauce and the spicy mustard. I'll be honest, I do not know what the devil sauce is supposed to taste like. I should have asked for, like, a little thing of it, but I didn't think to. But, man, this is good. It's like, it's got some heat to it, got some sourness to it, it's got some tanginess to it. And then at the core, you have this delicious hot dog, this super beefy hot dog that, even with all these strong flavors, isn't being muted. I will stand by. I personally think that Devil Dawgs is an extremely underrated establishment. I really do. I hear, like, and to be fair, there's so many great places to eat in Chicago, it's ridiculous. Like, I could never live in Chicago. I'd end up being 800 pounds in 2 weeks. But man, Devil Dawgs is good. And as for their Blue Demon Dog, man, it's so good. Not only do I not mind the pickle, I actually think that the pickle is perfect for it. Oh man, and then you got, like, that heat on your tongue. It's so good. I mean, I'll say this. Is it my favorite dog that I've gotten from Devil Dawgs? No. I'm trying to think. There was one in particular I had one time. The first time I went in, actually. And that one was probably my favorite, but I can't think of the name of it. But they also have one that's basically a Mexican street corn hot dog. So it's like a Lotes, and it's like a whole thing. And that is just fucking to die for. But this is still really good. I love the complexity of it. I love just, like, the abundance of flavors. And then, again, at the core of it, super good hot dog. So it just works. It's just, if any one thing there had been too prominent, it would have ruined the whole damn thing. But it manages to be bold in flavor and yet still really well balanced. I fucking love it. But anyway, two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Yes, and yes-ish. So again, it's not my personal favorite of their dogs, but if I happen to be out this way, which sadly I'm not out that often, I really don't hop into Chicago, a few times a year for concerts and conventions and stuff. That's typically it. Man, I wish they had a Devil Dawgs out by me. But as far as, like I said, I'm probably not going to be out this way that often. But it is one of those things. Like I said, whenever I'm through, I always try to go to Devil Dawgs. And it's like, yeah, man, like, it wouldn't be my go-to, but it's one that would definitely be in my rotation. Especially, typically I'd get two of them. But in this case, I had the meat pies to work with too, so. But it definitely works for me, man. I'm down with it. Now, recommending it is a little bit harder. It's a very good hot dog, but boy, oh boy, is it going to be something you're either going to love or you're going to hate. It's got so many flavors going on. And I'll say this. I would, if you're interested, try it. Even if maybe you're not a big sauerkraut person, maybe you're not a big pickle person. I'm not a big pickle person, and I'm only like an okay level sauerkraut person. But the way that it all came together, it personally worked super well for me. I'm just saying. Anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your folks. You go over there, have yourselves a truly devilishly tastic rest of your life. with the thing and the Devil Dawgs, you see. Final two things. Number one, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do all the time, I know I can't do all the time. Because you can do, folks, you're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me, I know it. I live it. I'm out there with you in it, folks. It's not always easy. Especially when you're over here. You're out in the middle of Chicago. You still have about an hour before the show starts. Before the doors even open. But you know, you went over there and you're gonna watch some stuff on the YouTubes and do the things, and you'll find ways to keep yourself entertained. But it's important when we run into situations in our life that are stressful, frustrating, etc. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholeness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, here's what I would like you to do. Explore your local scene. Seriously, like, and not, you know what, I'm going to tag in a little extra thing. Not even just with food, with music, too. With just culture and art and, like, you know, and to be fair, not, you know, every place is going to be different, obviously. But, like, don't be too mired in the idea of the familiar. Of, like, the familiar. I went for familiarity and familiar. Because I know for me personally, like, people are like, Brandon, you're always trying stuff, you're always doing things. That wasn't always the case. You know, for a lot of my life, I basically just tagged along with my dad, and we would just eat at places my dad wanted to eat at, you know? And that was fine. My dad had good taste in food. He was a little adventurous. But when I got a little bit older, and, you know, I had a car and I had a little bit of money, that's when I was like, man, I'm going to go explore. And I found all these places that I never would have experienced if all I did was keep going at, you know, basically the, you know, same 4 or 5 places. Doesn't mean you have to abandon those 4 or 5 places, but... And again, music. Music! Anyway, bye!